Why do political issues need a scientific lens? Let me illustrate with a political problem that one might be thinking about today in India. We elect our Lok Sabha members and members of the legislative assemblies in a system called first past the post. So if there are many candidates standing for election, the person who gets the maximum number of votes is declared to be the winner. This is the system of election that we have been following in this country for the last 75 years or so. Now, there is another way in which countries elect their elected representatives, and this is called proportional representation. In this system, what happens is that the people who are declared elected to the parliament or the assembly are decided on the basis of the overall proportion of votes that that political party actually secures in the election. The advantage of the proportional representation is that this gives a chance for the smaller parties to be represented in the legislative bodies. Most electoral democracies in the world have the proportional representation. Only a few of them have the first past the post. Now, if you think about it a little, first past the post works best when there are two dominant political parties, because then that represents the will of the people. Now, suppose as it happens in India, there are 5 or 6 parties contesting in an election, then first past the post does not necessarily reflect the will of a large number of people. Now, a scientist, when looking at this problem, suppose I give you the question, which is better for India today, first past the post or proportional representation? Then one could look at this from the perspective of probability and statistics, and one could develop a kind of an algorithm or a prediction to say that given so many parties, which one would be better? So instead of this issue becoming emotional and becoming a prey to vested interests of any given time, a scientist would be able to give a reasonable advice as to, given this particular situation in India today, which of them actually suits it better. That is why a purely scientific approach, a scientific lens, is often needed to come to play and brought to bear on purely political issues where you need a dispassionate, disinterested analysis.